I followed a baby's cry into the woods 3 days ago. When I found where it was coming from, there was no baby, just a tape recorder sitting on a stump. And when I looked up, there were 12 people standing in a circle around me. They didn't say a word, they just stared. I'm still shaking as I write this. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Jake, I'm 29. I've been hiking solo in the Appalachian Mountains for 5 years. I know these trails. I know what belongs out here and what doesn't. Last Saturday, I was 2 miles into a day hike on the Linville Gorge Trail in North Carolina. It was around 2 p.m. The trail was empty. I hadn't seen another person all day. That's when I heard it. A baby crying. Not faint, not distant, close, maybe 100 feet off the trail to my left. My first thought was, what the hell is a baby doing out here? I stopped walking. The cry continued. It was that desperate, hiccuping wail that babies make when they've been crying for a long time. My heart started pounding. I yelled, "Hello? Is anyone there? Do you need help?" The crying stopped. Then it started again. Same volume, same location. Every instinct told me not to go off trail. But what if there was really a baby? What if someone had an accident and couldn't call for help? I pushed into the brush. The crying got louder as I got closer. I was crashing through undergrowth, shoving branches out of my way. My hands were bleeding from thorns. I didn't care. And then I saw it. A stump, maybe 3 feet tall, and sitting on top of it was a small black tape recorder, the kind with the cassette tapes. It was playing a loop of a baby crying. I stood there, staring at it. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. Then I heard a twig snap behind me. I spun around. There was a woman standing 15 feet away. She was maybe 40, but she looked wrong. Her hair was matted and tangled with leaves. She was wearing these torn jeans and a flannel shirt that was so dirty I couldn't tell you what colour it used to be. Her feet were bare, her toenails were black, but it was her face that made my stomach drop. She wasn't blinking, just staring at me with this empty expression. I opened my mouth to speak, and that's when I saw the others. They were all around me, standing perfectly still between the trees. I counted 12 of them, men, women, teenagers. One looked like a kid, maybe 10 years old. All of them were filthy, all of them were barefoot, all of them were staring. Nobody said a word. The tape recorder kept playing. The baby kept crying. I don't remember deciding to run. My body just moved. I crashed back through the brush towards the trail. Branches whipped my face. I could hear footsteps behind me, multiple people running fast. But here's the thing that still makes my hands shake. They weren't trying to catch me. They were herding me. You see, every time I tried to angle back towards the main trail, someone would appear in that direction. I'd veer left, and there'd be another one. They were pushing me deeper into the forest, away from the trail, away from people. I realized what was happening and I screamed. I screamed as loud as I could. "Help! Somebody help me!" One of them, a man, maybe 30, laughed. It was the only sound any of them made. This high, broken laugh that didn't sound human. I saw a gap between two of them and I just went for it. I'm talking full sprint, crashing through thorns, not caring. One of them grabbed at my backpack. I felt the fingers close on the strap. I twisted out of it and I just kept running. I can't tell you how long I ran. 10 minutes, 20. I just kept going until I hit a creek. I splashed through it and I kept running until I saw the trail. When I finally stopped and I looked back, there was nobody there. But I could hear it, faint, in the distance, the baby crying. I made it back to my car. I sat in the parking lot for an hour before I could stop shaking enough to drive. I reported it to the ranger station. They took my statement. They said they'll look into it. I could tell they didn't believe me. But yesterday, I got a call from the ranger who took my report. They found that tape recorder right where I said it would be, and they found 12 sets of footprints in the dirt around the stump, all barefoot, forming a perfect circle. But here's what they wouldn't say over the phone. He asked me to come in. When I got there, he showed me something. It was a missing person poster from 2019. A female hiker, age 37, last seen on the Linville Gorge Trail. The ranger pointed at the woman in the photo. "Is this one of the people you saw?" It was. It was the first woman, the one who'd been standing 15 feet away from me. She'd been missing for 4 years. I asked him what they were going to do. He said they're investigating. But then he leaned in and said something that made my blood run cold. "This is the third report we've gotten in 18 months about people using recordings to lure hikers off trail. We think it's a group, and we think they're living somewhere in the gorge. But every time we send rangers in to search, they find nothing. It's like they vanish." I haven't been hiking since. I don't know if I ever will again, because I keep thinking about that circle. 12 people. How long have they been standing there before I noticed them? How long had they been watching, and what would have happened if I hadn't run? At least Jake got away. The man in this next story, he wasn't so lucky, because when something started chasing him on a morning trail run, he realized 2 things. It was faster than him, and it wasn't human. I'm a trail runner. I run 6-minute miles. I've done ultra marathons. I'm fast. Last week, something chased me for 3 miles through Olympic National Forest. It was on all 4s, and it was faster than me. I need to tell someone about this because I don't think it's going to stop. My name is Marcus. I'm 34. I run the Hoe River Trail every Saturday morning, early, like 6 a.m. early, before other people show up. It's my meditation, my escape. Last Saturday started like any other. I parked at the trailhead at 5:47 a.m. It was barely light, mist hanging in the trees. I stretched for 5 minutes and I started my run. The first 2 miles were perfect, quiet, just me in the forest. At mile 2, I saw something in my peripheral vision. Off to the right, maybe 30 yards into the trees. Something low to the ground, fast. I assumed it was a deer. I kept running. At mile 3, I saw it again, closer this time, 30 yards, moving parallel to the trail. That's when I realized it was keeping pace with me. I'm running 6-minute miles. Deer don't run that constantly. They bound, they sprint and stop. This thing was matching my speed. I turned my head to get a better look. I saw it for maybe 2 seconds before it ducked behind a tree. It was a person, on all 4s, moving like an animal. But the way it moved wasn't right. Humans can't move like that on all 4s. We're not built for it. Our arms are too short. Our center of gravity is wrong. The thing moved smoothly, like it had been doing this its entire life. I stopped running. The forest was quiet. I stood there, breathing hard, just staring into the trees. Nothing moved. I waited 30 seconds. Nothing. So I started running again, faster this time. At mile 4, I heard it behind me. Footsteps. Fast. Getting closer. Not running. Galloping. I looked back. It was on the trail, maybe 40 yards behind me, running on all fours, arms and legs pumping in this horrible, synchronized rhythm. I could see its face. It was a man, maybe 25, with long, filthy hair, bare chest and jeans so torn they were barely hanging on, and he was smiling. I sprinted, full, as bloody fast as I could go. I'm talking 5-minute mile pace, everything I had. My lungs were burning, my legs were screaming. I looked back. He was closer, 30 yards. I pushed harder. I didn't know I could run this fast. 25 yards. He wasn't slowing down. He was gaining. I screamed. I don't know what I said, just this primal, terrified sound. 20 yards. I could hear him breathing, this wet, raspy sound. 15 yards. I saw a bend in the trail ahead. There was a steep drop off to the right. If I could get round that corner, maybe I could lose him in the trees. I hit the corner at full speed. My ankle rolled on a rock. I went down hard. I landed on my side, slid 3 feet, and scrambled back to my feet. He was 10 yards away. I dove off the trail into the trees. I crashed through the undergrowth, branches tearing at my face. I didn't look back. I just ran. I have no idea how long I ran. My legs gave out and I collapsed behind a fallen tree. I lay there, gasping, trying not to make a sound. I waited. 5 minutes, 10. Nothing. I slowly lifted my head and looked back towards the trail. He was standing there, right at the edge of the trees, maybe 20 feet away, just standing, on 2 legs now, arms hanging at his sides, staring at me. We locked eyes, and then he dropped back to all fours and sprinted into the forest, away from me, gone in seconds. I stayed behind that log for 2 hours. I didn't move until I heard voices on the trail, other hikers. I stumbled back to the trail. A couple in their 60s saw me and asked if I was okay. I must have looked insane, covered in dirt and blood and hyperventilating. I told them I fell. They offered to help me back to the trailhead. I said yes. When we got back to the parking lot, I noticed something. There were muddy handprints on my driver's side door. Human handprints, but the fingers were long, too long, and they were only 4 fingers. I couldn't see a thumb. I reported it to the rangers. They took my statement. They asked if I'd been drinking or using drugs. I said no. They said they'll increase patrols. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. 2 days ago, I got a notification from my running app. Someone had followed my route on Saturday. The username was just numbers, 062497, and the time they logged, 4 minutes, 52 seconds per mile, for 3 miles. You might not know that's strange, but that's faster than Olympic pace. Nobody runs that fast on a trail. It's just not possible. I clicked on the profile. There was one photo. It was me, running, taken from the side, through the trees, from Saturday. I haven't gone running since. I don't think I'll ever trail run again, because I keep thinking about that smile, and the fact that he let me go. If you think being chased by something feral is terrifying, imagine finding a child alone in the woods, and realizing something is very, very wrong. This final story is the one I can't stop thinking about, because the question isn't just where the child came from, it's what happened to all the other children before him. I found a kid sitting alone on a trail in the Great Smoky Mountains yesterday. He was wearing a Coca-Cola shirt with a logo that hadn't been used since 1987. The kid looked maybe 8 years old. He wouldn't speak. He just pointed deeper into the woods and smiled. I called the police 4 hours ago. They still haven't found him. My name is Sarah. I'm 42. I'm an experienced hiker. I've been hiking these mountains for 15 years. I've seen strange things, but nothing like this. Yesterday afternoon, around 3:30 p.m, I was hiking the Alum Cave Trail. It's a popular trail, usually packed with people, but it was late October, a Tuesday, and it had rained that morning. I'd only seen 2 other hikers all day. I was about 1.5 miles in when I saw him, a little boy, sitting on a rock just off the trail, maybe 10 feet into the trees. He was wearing blue jeans, dirty white sneakers, and a red Coca-Cola t-shirt. The shirt had that old wavy logo, the one they stopped using in the late 80s. My first thought was, where are his parents? I called out, "Hey, are you okay? Are you lost?" He turned his head and looked at me. His face was filthy, dirt smeared across his cheeks, leaves in his hair, but his eyes were clear, bright blue, and he was smiling. It wasn't a scared smile, not a nervous smile, a happy smile, like he was expecting me. "Sweetie, where are your parents?" I said, walking closer. He didn't answer, just kept smiling. "Are you hurt? Do you need help?" Nothing. I got within 5 feet of him, and that's when I noticed the shirt. It wasn't just old, it was wrong. The fabric looked brittle, faded, like it had been buried for decades and then dug up. The Coca-Cola logo was cracked and peeling, and the jeans, they were Levi's, but a tag was visible, one of those old paper tags they stopped using in the 90s. "How long have you been out here?" I asked. He raised his arm, slowly, and pointed, deeper into the woods, away from the trail. "What's back there?" I asked. "Is that where your parents are?" He nodded, still smiling, and then he said one word, "Come." His voice was wrong, too deep, like he was imitating a child's voice but didn't get it quite right. Every instinct in my body told me to run, but he was a kid. I couldn't just leave him here. "Let's go back to the trail," I said. "We'll find a ranger, they can help." He shook his head. "Come." "I'm not going into the woods. Come with me to the trail and..." He stood up. And that's when I realized how thin he was. Not just skinny, malnourished. His wrists were like sticks, his collarbones jutted out under his shirt. But he was standing upright, steady, not weak at all. "Please," I said, "come with me. I'll get you food, water. We'll find your parents." He tilted his head like a dog hearing a strange sound, and then he turned and walked into the woods. Not fast, just walking, calm. I yelled, "Wait! Stop!" He didn't stop. I pulled out my phone. No signal. Of course. I stood there for 10 seconds trying to decide what to do. Then I followed him. I kept about 20 feet back. He never looked back, just kept walking, deeper into the trees. After maybe 2 minutes, he stopped. There was a small clearing ahead, maybe 30 feet across, and in the center was a pile. At first, I thought it was trash, old camping gear, clothes. Then I got closer. It was belongings, dozens of them, backpacks, water bottles, wallets and shoes, all old, weathered. Some looked recent, others looked decades old. And clothes, so many clothes, kids' clothes. I saw a Disney shirt, Frozen, that movie came out in 2013. I saw a Star Wars shirt, the original trilogy logo, late 70s, early 80s, and I saw a Pokemon shirt, late 90s, all different eras, all kid sizes. I looked at the boy. He was standing at the edge of the clearing, still smiling. "What is this?" I whispered. He pointed to the pile. "Home!" That's when I heard them. Footsteps, multiple people, coming from deeper into the trees. I turned and saw movement, shapes between the trees, people. I ran. I didn't look back. I crashed through the forest until I hit the trail. Then I sprinted all the way back to the parking lot. Called 911 from my car. I told them everything. They sent rangers and police. They searched for 6 hours. They found nothing. No clearing, no pile, no boy. But they did find something. At the spot where I said I first saw him, there were footprints. Small, child-sized, barefoot. And next to them were dozens of other footprints, all barefoot, all different sizes. The ranger told me something off the record. "We've gotten reports like this before. Kids alone on trails, wearing old clothes, always leading people deeper into the woods. We've never found any of them." I asked him how many reports. He looked at me for a long moment. 11, in the last 3 years. I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do, because I keep thinking about that pile, and how many of those clothes were never reported missing.